Conference season is upon us, so before you book that flight and book those accommodations, here are a few things that I wish I knew before I went to my first conference. Hey guys, welcome to Trace My Journey. If this is your first time seeing me, let me introduce myself. My name is Tracy. I am building a portfolio career. So in my portfolio, I do so many different things. I am a director of community outreach and I work on experiential marketing for a med spa. I host events and a social club in the city that I live in. I also am a content creator. I work in production, editing, videography, photography, and that's just to name a few of the things that I do. One thing about me is I really enjoy using my creativity in a myriad of ways. I am a girly who has a lot to do, a multi-passionate, a multi-hyphenate, if you will. For those of you that don't know, a multi-hyphenate is somebody who simply does a lot of different things. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way. Not knocking anybody who does the 9-to-5 hustle. That's just not my ministry. I decided about 3 years ago to walk away from corporate, and I took a adult gap year, a sabbatical, if you will, and it was one of the best things that I've ever done. It gave me the opportunity to decide how to work, when to work, and the best ways in which I worked, and this is what I found has worked for me. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, let's get into today's video. Conference season is upon us, so here are a few things that you need to note before you attend the conference. Number one, where you stay absolutely matters. If you stay far away from the event, you'll have to leave earlier, miss out on evening events, spend more time in transportation, and you're missing the whole momentum of the actual conference. All of the good meetings and networking happen after the panel discussions have ended. If you're not staying at the block of hotels or at least nearby, you're missing out on a ton of networking opportunities, which doesn't make the conference null and void, but it definitely makes you feel like you've missed a lot. That's where all the connections are happening. The short way to say this is that proximity creates opportunities. Number two, you don't need to attend every single event. I think that actually causes a lot more fatigue than people are aware of. Like, conference FOMO will affect your entire experience. I would say to prioritize speakers that you're genuinely interested in, niche conversations that align with your goals, and places that give you access to people that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. Because that's the whole purpose of going to conferences. It's a massive opportunity for networking. You cannot forget to add this one particular thing. Do not forget to download the app that comes along with the conference if it is available to you. That's where they'll have every seminar that's available, the agendas, where things are located, the maps on how to get to each location. When I tell you, that would be such a lifesaver. And also, because you have all that stuff in advance, make sure that you're using that to your benefit and scheduling out which sessions you want to attend and windows that you may want to take a break, windows that you want to go out and engage with other people. Make sure you are using your time wisely. Next thing is that a lot of the happy hours do require a reservation. Not all, but a lot do, especially when you're going to big conferences. So I would highly recommend make sure that you're scheduling which happy hours, workout sessions in the morning that they may be offering, midday chats, or specific things. Like the last event that I went to, they had a social beach, they had yacht chats at the end of the day, a bunch of happy hours, but you needed a reservation prior to getting to the event. So make sure that if you have access to those things in advance, that you're taking advantage of those. I would actually highly recommend a little variation between structure and flexibility. That's where you're going to get the most out of this experience. The next bit of advice that I have for you is that comfortable shoes are a non-negotiable. You will be walking far more than you've ever expected. On conference days, they're starting early, ending late. You could be walking upwards of 17,000 to 20,000 steps, and that's moderate. So we're talking not shoes that are comfortable but manageable. We're talking about high-key comfortable shoes. Your calves and your feet will thank you. Remember, you're doing this for multiple days. Make sure that your clothes and your shoes are super comfortable. You want to think layers in terms of clothing, things that are still smart, casual, but chic. I would also recommend that because you're going to be walking so much, you might want to pack things like blister patches, Dr. Scholl's shoe inserts, maybe even a pain balm for standing, sitting for long periods of time. In that same regard, your phone becomes your lifeline at these events. You want to make sure that you're packing things like a portable charger, adapters, whatever you might need, because your battery life will burn out quick. In another regard, if you are planning to shoot content, make sure before you get to the conference that you have deleted and made room for all of the content that you plan to record. There's nothing worse than being in the middle of important moments and your phone pops up with that sign that says not enough storage. It is not an opportune time to try to figure out how to get content when that's happening. Make sure you're clearing space before you leave for the conference. Here's another really great piece of advice that I have. I understand being a content creator at these conferences, you really want to get the best content, but the content trap is so real. You want to make sure that while you're at this conference, you also are utilizing it as a way for you to get what you need as well. So you're looking for opportunities and networking opportunities. So make sure you're using that time wisely. You need to set intentional windows where you're going to get content, intentional windows where you're going to spend mixing and mingling with people, communicating. Yes, get pieces of content, get B-roll, get the things that you'll need, but make sure that you are prioritizing having time for you to also enjoy and engage with the conference and the people at the conference. Now, this is one of the things that people forget quite often, is that you need to make sure that you are hydrated. Dehydration becomes so real at these conferences, and it doesn't just show up as, I'm a little thirsty. No, the muscle cramps, the fatigue, the migraines can really take you out for a couple of days if you're not mindful. So pack things like a liquid IV, element, hydration. If you can't access those things, just make sure you're putting a pinch of salt in your water to maintain your hydration. I would actually recommend bringing a water bottle with you so you can just refill it at different stations. If that's not possible, make sure you're drinking hydrating liquids, coconut water, electrolyte waters, Gatorades, whatever you can get your hands on, and try to limit your caffeine as much as possible, because the caffeine will dehydrate you, okay? Like, so for real, and I'm speaking from experience. One of the things that people will say about these conferences is that the most important part is not even just connecting with people, but it's following up with the people that you've connected with at the event. I typically try to do that within 24 hours of being at the event, just saying something like, hey, it was so nice having lunch with you today and chatting about XYZ. And that way you sort of imprint on them like, hey, this is where we met, this is what we discussed, and then I would like to connect with you going further. And this is a really great way of setting up next conversations and next steps. Don't miss out on this, because that would be a very big missed opportunity. One of the things that I would really recommend is making sure that you're also eating before you go out to these parties. Yes, tapas are available typically, as are drinks, but you want to make sure that you have a full stomach, because your energy, people won't say this, but conferences are actually very draining. When your blood sugar dips, you're finished. Like, you really need to focus on not just hydrating, but nourishing your body. So things like power bars will hold you over for some time, but you really need to make sure that you're prioritizing eating full meals. Now that we're heading into the summer months, if your conference is outdoor, I would recommend wearing sunscreen every single day. It's nothing worse than getting out there and getting a sunburn day one. And the last thing that I'm going to add is that I need you to go in there and make sure that your mindset is on point. The mindset should never be that I'm here to prove myself. The mindset in these environments is that I'm here to participate. Genuinely, that shift changes how you communicate with people, your confidence levels, the content, and your overall presence completely. And don't forget that conferences are a twofold environment. You're here to work and get new business opportunities, but don't forget to have a good time along the way. That's all I have for you guys today. So guys, get out there and enjoy conference season. If you like this sort of content and would love for you to hit that subscribe button, always follow along for more. Bye.